Welcome, Boar Band, to HHN 365, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. My name is Mike. I'm here with my co-host, Duff.
I just lost respect for you.
Well, I gotta play into it. And our producer, Niko.
Hey, Bowdy, hey.
Ugh.
You lose respect for him, too?
He already has, so.
I was going to say.
What respect did I have
What
left?
respect is left?
Yeah, exactly. I get no respect from these guys. No, I'm pulling out my tie and my eyes are bulging out while saying that.
Okay, Rodney Dangerfield. On today's show, we'll discuss the Horror Night Nightmares new speculation map of Orlando and Hollywood and all the tidbits that we can glean from it. But before we get to that, we have some news and rumors.
Yeah, we do. Well, one of them you just mentioned. We got the new Horror Night Nightmare speculation map.
The main segment of the show.
Yeah, that is news, but we are going to hold off on that. Also, before we get into the other news, we were just participating in HHN at Home, also from Horror Night Nightmares. We had a lot of fun doing HHN Quiplash. It was a blast. If you've missed out, that's why Mike is putting B's on everything. B is a Horror Night icon now, according to HHN Quiplash. So get used to it if you haven't seen it on Twitter yet. And it was also, it raised, I believe it was almost $3,000 for the Trevor Project. So really happy to be involved in something that helped that much.
Absolutely.
Also more of an update on us. We missed a week. I was out of town. That one was my fault. I brought the equipment. The Wi-Fi wasn't good enough to record. We're also going to be posting, if you are someone who actually cares about when we post, we usually do it early in the week, usually Tuesday. This week and next week are both going to be late week recording, so expect it next week as well. But other than that, we actually do have real news, this is a rumor, I'm sorry, from HHN Rumors. They're saying that travel agents are being told that HHN tickets and the packages will be revealed on June 17th. So exactly a week from Velocicoaster's opening, which I would like to point out. I don't know if all of us said it. I know at least a couple of us said it. We expected right after Velocicoaster there would be some ticket announcements, or at least announcements of some sort. We finally got something right, guys. Our prediction might have hit. Well, it hasn't happened yet. But if it does, we got something right.
All right. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think we could talk about this for a second, I think, because there's a lot of discussion. Will they do packages and will they be limited? And I think it's got to be a no. I think it's going to be the same event we had in 2019 structurally.
I think it's going to be whole hog. I don't know if we'll get the BOGO ticket or anything like that.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think BOGO.
Yeah. We're going to get, the whole shebang, I think.
Agreed.
So we have one more thing in news and rumors that we kind of have to bring up. If you had following Twitter, there was some incident where a lot of people got review bombed, I guess is the best way to put it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and we are one of those people. We held off mentioning it on Twitter until it kind of kept happening to us.
Yeah, it hasn't happened. It was like a week of us just getting a bunch of random 1-star reviews.
Yeah, so if you enjoy the show, go leave an honest review, and that will help us out. So yeah, let us know what you think of the show. We've never actually, I don't think this is our first time we've ever mentioned.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever asked for an iTunes rating before.
I don't
outside of something like this happening again, we won't.
I don't think we'll ever ask again. Yeah,
this is a situation where we just feel kind of hard done, and we would really appreciate again an honest rating. If you don't think we're a 5-star, you don't have to give us a 5-star.
Yeah, give us an honest rating, and we would appreciate it. All right, moving on. That's all we're going to talk about. We're not going to go into any more details within that. All right, Duff. Well, what's next?
I think we're just going to head into the main segment at this point, right?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's pull up the new spec maps.
So I think we should obviously, let's start with Hollywood. I think that's a better place to start, and then we'll get into the more to talk about with Orlando, because Hollywood. Not much change, did it?
No, not really. Not much at all.
And by not much at all, we mean what did they call it? The Curse of Pandora's Box 2. So the sequel to Pandora's Box became Pandora's Box At the same exact house they had in 2019.
Repeat of 19.
Yes.
That's what it says. Repeat of 2019.
And I believe that is literally the only change that we had on the spec map. So yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, no, it's not great.
I'm glad they're getting an event.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot better than the originally speculated HHN Lite they were going to get. But still, it's not. I think you were telling me right before this that it's not something that's really going to draw you out to Hollywood. You're not necessarily going to book a flight to go see this event.
Yeah. I was really excited to head out there in 2020 before all that happened because there was the Jordan Peele original and some other things that was really going to lure me out there.
Mhm.
So I think I was all set to head out there before everything happened. But this one, not so much. I mean, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch doesn't excite me, but if that ends up happening over here in Orlando, then there's nothing on here that really is a draw for me.
Yeah. It's there'd be two different houses, and none of us, I should say, saw the Curse of Pandora's box in 2019. So that would be brand new for us, regardless of it's a repeat. That really doesn't affect us too much. We've only seen a POV, and it's not the same thing.
Not the same.
But yeah, now if you gotta, pay for a flight, pay for hotel, pay for the tickets, you have children. It's not as easy for you to get away.
Right.
I have a tough commitment to make.
Yeah, I have limited free time for sure.
And I think you're probably not the only one who's feeling. In fact, I've had other people I've talked to say, I kind of wanted to go to Hollywood, and now maybe I'll just wait till next year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I think that's it. That's really the only thing that changed. So we're kind of done with the the Hollywood portion.
All right, let's move on to the exciting one then.
Yeah. Again, not too much changed.
I don't know.
I mean, there's changes, but there's not a huge. I guess there's one part that we call it. There's not a massive change in here. I would say there's one that had already been speculated by others that I think people would consider big.
I at first kind of agreed with you, but then I started looking at some of the other stuff, like the scare zones and shows really fill out on here, and they before were kind of afraid to kind of jump in and do a lot of speculating on this, and they have now decided they want to kind of fill in the scare zones and shows, and so they're taking some guesses here for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're a little more. So real quick, let's talk about the scare zones that were on the last speculation map. Just to remind you, they had a 30th anniversary zone, an original, creep show, Terra Correntis, and the best of scare zones mashup. We still keep the 30th anniversary zone. We still have Terra Correntis, and that's it. The other three have been updated.
Changed. Yes, at
so
least a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have Shudder, like the streaming horror service Shudder, which could seem like a natural replacement for Creepshow, right?
Creepshow does air on there.
Yep, exactly. You have the Eddie Zone, so the icon, non-icon Eddie Schmidt, and then you have Seek and Destroy, which I can only assume they're saying like in the form of like Metallica, I guess.
Yeah. I was going to save that joke for Niko, but I guess is that what they're trying to go here for?
I mean, I don't know if it's a joke. I just don't. If you're using that name, I think that's got to be what they're going for. Right?
Seek and Destroy. Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of. I didn't know if that was a popular thing there, but I mean, Seek and Destroy could also be a like a war zone kind of thing, or like an occupied area, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but yeah, a Metallica zone, that would be like, the first like quarter of it's good, and then you realize you're like, oh, I guess the first quarter is the only stuff worth going to in it. So.
Yeah, it's just someone yelling really at you for downloading music.
Yeah, you wouldn't download an HHN, would you?
Yeah.
Other changes. So for shows, last time we had the Fountain Show that is still on there as the Lagoon Show. But there is one more show, and I think we were confident another show would happen. So pat on the back here, and that is going to be the Jack Stage Show. Which is in the Fear Factor Theater.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's a lot of speculation on what that is. I'm not gonna try to come out here and tell you I know exactly what it is. But it could be a lot of things, right? You had Carnage Returns pretty recently. I think a lot of people are probably leaning that way. We've had dance shows recently. Maybe it ties in there somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I mean,
I'm
people
actually
know,
excited for this.
but, wow.
Yeah,
Why you gotta say it like that?
Well, because I didn't really want to go see a dance show at HHN to be honest, guys. Be completely honest.
Did you
What
not
if it
see
is?
the show in 2019?
No, I was too busy doing better things at that event. So
Okay,
I decided to see.
that was a really good
think
show. But
No,
that was a good show. But
I mean, that's just something that doesn't appeal to me there. But a Jack stage show now that's something I could get behind.
yeah.
All right. Well, the other. Sorry, he said he could get behind it, and I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
I want to circle back just a second, and I have another question about Seek and Destroy. So when you have Seek and Destroy here, is this kind of I recall like Horror Night Nightmares when they're not 100% ready to announce something, they'll kind of make like a secret, like alluding to something that would eventually be the Metallica scare zone. Is that what they're trying to do here? Is like give us a little hint at what they think is going, because obviously it's gonna, if it's a Metallica scare zone, Metallica is going to be plastered. It's going to be kind of like Rob Zombie. Metallica is going to be the main draw here, and it's not going to be. It might be called like Metallica Seek and Destroy, but obviously Metallica is going to be in the title somewhere.
Yeah, I would assume so. But it could be a hint in another form that maybe it's not Metallica, and it's kind of Seek and Destroy is maybe a description of what is happening, but it's not the actual scare zone itself. Even
they do that a lot.
I don't know.
They kind of leave like a little. I remember when they did like a little ghost emoji for when it was Ghostbusters.
For 29. I mean,
yeah.
I'll forever call HHN 29 last year. It'll be fucking 2049. I'll be like, last year at HHN 29. It's just happened now. But yeah, and also it's still kind of early, even a completely regular year. It is kind of early for scare zones to be fully penciled in on this speculation map. It usually takes till about July, even August, until they fully nail down the scare zones. So, could this actually be the full lineup? Maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Usually the scare zones are the last things kind of to happen, right?
And that, that's not even just on like Horror Night Nightmares. I'm not saying, they don't know, but like Universal doesn't even necessarily have it nailed down what they're doing for scare zones yet. They can change that so last minute, They don't necessarily have it locked down for another month. So maybe right now they're planning on Seek and Destroy, but come September we have something else. It's possible. I don't know. But I would say I would bet money on something being different, at least in one of the scare zones, because it's just how it works every year.
It looks like
I'd expect that to continue.
The Seek and Destroy zone. It looks like they have it in the streets of New York. By the way.
Yeah. So it's got the main draw location.
That's the big draw like location. I know last year it kind of fizzled, or 2 years ago it kind of fizzled out, and that zone in particular was kind of the least favorite. But usually that zone is kind of like the main draw.
Yeah, and it would seem weird for a band to get that zone. That location is usually for a more grand or more encompassing space, and I don't know if a band or a song or an album or whatever it would be that they go with from Metallica would be able to cover that. But I could be wrong. Just a guess.
Right. And also and Eddie zone, the Scream Queens have to be so excited.
Oh, I'm sure. Not just the Scream Queens. A lot of Twitter
are going crazy for the Eddie zone.
That's Daddy, so
yeah,
they're pretty hype about that. I'm sure. I actually haven't been on Twitter a lot today. I was running around, so I haven't got to see too many reactions on this speculation map. But I can imagine the Eddie zone is exciting people.
As long as he doesn't park his Punisher Jeep anywhere in the zone, I'm okay.
Other than that, it looks like the locations for everything that's existing have stayed the same. Am I correct there? Yeah, 30th anniversary in Production Central and Terra Quentis in Central Park. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it looks like everything else has kind of stayed the same. It does look like the Shutter Zone is going kind of where we could potentially get the Creepshow house. And that zone before, I know we're gonna speculate what we might see in that zone a little bit later, but that zone in Hollywood, I recall in 2014, that is where they had like the face-off zone. So it has been used there kind of as like in that style before, where you might get like vignettes of like different shows and stuff. So I could potentially see that being kind of a Shutter Zone where it's a little bit of advertising going on in here. Kind of, we've seen it done before there.
It makes sense. And then if you want to compare it to the last one, by the way, I think a lot of people were talking about why would you have a creep show in Shrek Theater and then a creep show scare zone in San Francisco? This kind of remedies that. If Shutter does include Creepshow, I would assume
you're not just getting Creepshow, you're getting some of the other Shutter originals as well.
And we didn't say it. We've said every other location now, but the Eddie Zone would be in San Francisco, according to this speculation map.
Right. Which that would be interesting to see there. Especially if we're getting chainsaws in there, that's going to be a cluster F. Because that always is a cluster F, but if we're getting chainsaws in there, that's going to be crazy. I'd avoid that area.
I know, right? I think, even if it doesn't end up being this way, this is a nice lineup so far to have for scares.
Yeah.
There's nothing I dislike in any way. Seek and Destroy is a little too, you have no idea what's going to come of that, if it does. So it's tough to fully say, but, there's always going to be multiple scare zones typically like that, where you're like, I really don't know what to expect whatsoever. So nothing new there. And the rest, Terra Quentis is obviously, if I had a hype list for scare zones, that's number one, far and away. And it's in the spot that everyone knows it should be. So it's a nice scare zone lineup, I think.
The only sad part about this is that it being there, unless we can get it kind of coming out of like the esoteric gate, is that we're not going to get to the motorcycles, which is a huge part of kind of the lore of Terra Quentis. Is that that zone is not really going to fit having those motorcycles in there unless it's kind of like comes out of the esoteric gate and it bleeds over a little bit into kind of the Hollywood area.
Now, what if they have it kind of off in the fenced off areas in some way?
Okay, they park a bike there.
Yeah,
they just
Maybe
I could see that.
Or if
I could see that.
Down the Cafe La Bamba sidewalk somehow.
Okay.
Even something like that. I'm sorry, not Cafe, not Cafe La Bamba. I mean, the preview center.
Yeah, I don't know if they would be writing them. But then again, I don't know if. Do you think that having. I've been thinking about this recently, but do you think that Universal would do something like having the motorcycles just loose in a scare zone? I know they do the motorcycles before like the Macy's parades and I know the things like that, but that is like a packed parade audience control environment where the streets are cleared. Do you think they would really bring the motorcycles out in a way that where there are just random people in the street? I don't know if they would do that.
As recently as 27.
Have they?
Yeah.
The motorcycles just had to just run around.
I believe it was actually a dirt bike, I believe, but I mean, in Survive or Die and in The Purge.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know in The Purge, but that was most for the opening moments. I know for The Purge where they've had the motorcycles.
Well, they came. I mean, they weren't like just driving around the entire time, but they came out. It was decently frequent.
Are we talking smaller motorcycles, or are we talking about like Harleys, like some big old hogs?
This
they have were Harleys.
Oh, okay.
And in Survive or Die, I believe they did have. I don't think they were Harleys, but a larger motorcycle, whereas The Purge was more like dirt bikes.
Yeah, they were dirt bikes, and from what I remember,
a full box truck.
Yeah, Yes. But the
Got
box truck, did the box truck
That drove
drive?
very. Yeah, it drove. Oh, it drove.
Oh,
And
yeah?
it drove very slowly, obviously.
Right.
But
Were there like people like directing traffic around?
yeah, they
it?
had like scare actors out in front of it,
Gotcha.
basically getting people out of the way.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. I like that.
Yeah, no, it's really having that, like the vehicles, and it adds like a kinetic energy.
It does.
And it's kind of terrifying in a way, having a fucking box truck heading towards you. You're like, they're not going to hit me, right? I mean, I know they won't, but will they?
Right.
When you're already like 2 Dufftoberfest in, you're like, I don't know about that.
When I'm 3 Dufftoberfests in, I try to climb the box truck.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm kidding. That's like 6. Not
Yeah,
3.
it takes you a little bit more than 3.
So, do we want to kind of deep dive a little bit about what it's the Shrek theater? So, you've mentioned it before that they had both Creepshow and Halloween 3, but let's take a closer look at it. So, what do you think, Duff? Is this the first time we've ever seen on a Horror Night Nightmares speculation map where they've done like an either or situation like this?
I don't specifically remember them saying either or. I know there have been situations where it's kind of gone back and forth, like it changes between 2 properties multiple times. But I don't recall them putting 2 in one spot ever.
Did you already
I
read
could
the
be
little
wrong.
asterisks here? So
Yeah.
they have a little asterisk by Halloween 3. Did you already read that?
Yeah, and you want to read it for everyone listening?
Yeah. No, that's what. Yeah. So it says all of our sources are divided on whether the Shrek House is Creepshow or Halloween 3. So we decided to present to you with both options for right now. Our next map should have a more precise information on this location.
Now, I will say one thing. A lot of times when there's situations like this and they kind of flip-flop between 2, and they're hearing, multiple things from sources to this level where they actually have to put something like this, I think it can turn out being something
Totally
different
different.
potentially,
Yeah.
So I just want to throw that possibility out there as well,
Yeah.
because this is a situation that we've seen, not where it's actually on the same spec map, but where it does flip-flop and suddenly it's something completely different because, clearly the sources cannot fully agree on one thing, and that kind of leads you to believe, well, maybe do they know? Do either of them
Horror Night
really know
Nightmares
on
is
either
usually
side?
pretty locked in. If they're going to put it on their map, they're usually pretty locked in on what they think it is. So the fact that they're kind of either or, this might just be kind of a big question mark at this point.
I will say though, and this one is tough, especially compared to last year's or previous years. I'm sorry, because this one they could kind of hold off on when they started construction because it's going to be the one house being built at this point. Everything else is, maybe some touch ups left, but they're built for the most part. This one I believe I don't want to call it confirmation, but we have heard that they have just started construction within the past week, maybe 2 weeks at this point.
The permits reflect that too, right?
Yeah, exactly. The permit came out about a week ago, I believe. So
and there's really no exterior facade they have to build. It's all kind of internal here. So it's one of those that they can kind of hold off to the last minute and just kind of build it inside, and it might not get as leaked as some of these others.
Exactly. And this is something, again, that Creepshow could have been discussed, Halloween 3 could have been discussed, other properties could have been discussed literally up until like a couple weeks ago,
Right.
So that's probably what's making this a tougher prediction than most.
Because I know, like, looking back at 2019, wasn't at this point us was still probably not even really out there as a rumor. Because I know they cast Tooth Fairy, or I believe a lot of people around this time, were told that they were going to be in a Tooth Fairy house, and then
and I believe that's because that one was actually a change after like base construction had started.
Right.
So
these changes are normal to happen this late in the game.
And I mean, this one, again, who knows if they even had one thing decided on anyways, maybe they really brought it down to the wire and we're like, okay, this is what we're going to go with. Right. Not sure. But when you see situations like this, it always kind of makes you think, is it something else even?
Right.
Or is it, one of these?
Right. Well, I will be excited if it's one of these things. Just because, again, I really want to see Cena the Witch, and I don't necessarily want to make it all the way out to Hollywood to do so.
Mhm.
So, and a Creep Show house would be really cool as well. So I'd be excited if either of these two, and if it's not one of these things, I'm sure it will be great as well.
Yeah, I'd be highly content with either of these properties. To be fair,
sure.
I don't think. I think Halloween 3 probably gets me a little more excited than Creep Show, just a tad.
Yeah.
But neither of them would get like super high on my hype list. But I think I'd be very content and happy with either.
Yeah, the reason why I think if it's going to be one of these two, Halloween 3, I think that having Universal, at least lately, they like to have some big properties on here that are going to draw kind of the casual people into buying a one night ticket on like the weekends and stuff and going to this event. And you got the Texas Chainsaw and you got Beetlejuice. And then you could maybe argue that Haunting of Hill House is going to attract people, but you're kind of lacking that third thing, in my opinion, that's a big name draw. And Halloween 3 would definitely do that better, I think, than Creep Show. Again, I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed that Michael Myers never pops out at them, but I think it when looking, when put on the the cutouts in Publix and stuff, Halloween 3 is going to sell tickets.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely is a bigger draw than Creep Show. And then just because we haven't said it yet, to read off all the houses on here, even though they're the same as before, you have The Bride of Frankenstein Lives, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Revenge of the Tooth Fairy, HHN Icons Captured, Welcome to Scary, Horror in the Heartland, The Wicked Growth, Realm of the Pumpkin, Puppet Theater Captive Audience, The Haunting of Hill House, and Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
And then before we get into what is going to be our last fun little segment here, do we want to say anything about the potential Jack stage show and how exciting that is? Because we didn't really go deep in it at all when we talked about it before.
I recall not too long ago that I think there was a spec map that had no shows at all. So the fact that we are getting a Lagoon show, which I am on the record that I think that 2019's Lagoon show was maybe the best thing that's ever happened to Halloween Horror Nights. The fact that we are getting a repeat of that and a Jack stage show, which I think a lot of people would say that the show in 25 is probably one of their favorite things that has ever happened to the event. The fact that we're getting both of those kind of sequels to those things in this event is really exciting.
Oh yeah. Marathon of Mayhem. I don't know how much more we can say about it. We love it. Amazing show. But like you've said, it's one of your favorite things ever at Horror Nights, period. And it's my favorite standalone show that they've ever had by far. So, not much more to say about that. The Jack stage show, it's very exciting to get some usage out of Fear Factor, since originally it wasn't predicted to happen, and then on the second one wasn't predicted to happen. So having something there, especially involving Jack, because he has had 2 fantastic shows that I've witnessed at Horror Nights. So having another one, even though we don't necessarily know what the capacity is going to be there, not capacity as in crowd, but like what it's going to be, because you got to feel it's going to be something a little bit more grand than like the Carnage Returns. This is a bigger stage. This is a bigger theater. The other stage isn't even a theater. So I think it's going to be something a bit more grand than we're used to. What does that mean?
Returns
Who knows?
Has a huge following though. Like for what they were able to pull off, people love that show.
Oh yeah, and I mean I think everyone's going to naturally be drawn to. Oh, this is going to be like another. It's going to be like the sequel of Carnage Returns. But what if it's kind of more involved? Like what if it ties in more
theatrical
icons and more lore? And yeah.
Like it sounds really exciting.
So we don't know exactly what this is yet, and that makes it very exciting. There's so many possibilities, but seeing Jack's stage show, just those 3 words have me hyped.
Yes.
Very hyped.
JSS.
Yeah, I'm super excited. If you haven't listened to the Fear and Beer anniversary show that we happen to be featured on, I happen to mention that one of the things I was most looking forward to is the shows. And this was kind of before that this Jack Shade show was kind of, I've heard rumblings about it, but the fact that we now get to see this on the speculation map, I'm even more excited about these shows. This is going to be my favorite part of the event, guys. See if we get these two shows, it's going to be kick ass.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, the event I'm staring at right now on the spec map, I'd be very pleased with.
Yeah, this looks
Very
great.
pleased with.
Yeah. This is going to be exciting. The shows play a huge part in the event for me. It really breaks up the monotony of the kind of standing in lines and just being terrified all the time. I'm one of those guys who loves going through these houses, but it also raises my anxiety level pretty high when I'm constantly going through these houses. To get something where I can go see a show and let that my blood pressure go down a little bit, so I don't have a stroke. That's what I like about these.
And I think
shows.
Another angle to that is, we're locals. We buy frequent fear passes. We go a lot. You don't necessarily want to wait in those lines every single night for the houses. So having the shows as an option is something that's easy to get into is very nice as someone who goes multiple times a week, if not as many nights as humanly possible.
Right. Well, do you have anything else you want to add to this spec map? I know we have held off of speculating what's on the Shutter scare zone, but that's because I have prepared a little game for Niko that kind of ties into that. So, anything else other than what we think might be in the Shutter scare zone before we move on?
Just to remind everyone, I'm very excited for the Wicked Growth. I don't know why, because I don't know much about it at all. But, I'm very excited. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
The Pumpkin Lord. No, sign me up for his church because I am all in on the Pumpkin Lord.
This is leaning towards probably our first house, going straight from Stay and Scream,
probably
into there. I think that's leaning towards there.
If it's the one,
what are our options here? Let's see. So let's say we're it's opening night. We're in the Duff Gardens. If we're busting out of here.
If we're doing Duff Gardens, we'll probably get 2 out of these 5. That's going to be Welcome to Scary.
Okay.
Wicked Grove.
No, that's got to be my first.
Welcome to Scary.
Yeah.
Welcome to Scary probably will be based off the past, but they could change things. Who knows? Wicked Growth, Puppet Theater, Haunting of Hill House, and Beetlejuice. I definitely won't start with Beetlejuice because I've already done it.
Yeah, we've done it. Hill House is one of those. It's going to be really busy, so logistically it would make a lot of sense to crank that one out. Yeah. To be honest with you guys, but
on a personal level, if the other options are between Scary, Wicked Growth, and Puppet Theater, I'm taking whatever one of those 3 it is.
Yeah, exactly. I'll follow your lead.
And the thing is, we'll knock out whatever 2 it is really easy anyways over there, because everyone's going to be chilling over at Finnegan's because, I don't know. You're sheep. You Finnegan's people are sheep. I'm kidding. You have good reasoning. Enjoy.
Yeah, no.
It was just a joke. But you don't get Dufftoberfest over there. I'll throw that your way.
I'm a Simpsons, true and true. All right. So are we ready for our little game that I made?
I don't know if I'm ready, but I'll try my best.
The audience is ready because I think we've done 2 Niko quizzes at this point, and both times people have been very excited that Niko's kind of been shut up a little bit. Okay, they don't like some of his takes, so they enjoy when he gets gets dropped on his head.
We have a running gag on the show where we like to make quizzes where it kind of shows Niko's where Niko really likes when he I would say, how do I put this? Like he likes when he is knows a lot of information about certain topics. And we like to kind of find topics that he has a kind of a glaring hole in his knowledge base and kind of exploit that for our show. That's our main kind of gag that we have with Niko. So we're going to lean into that. And Niko, are you do you know much about the streaming service Shudder?
I know it's owned by AMC Networks.
Okay. Yes,
and like you can get it like as a bundle with like AMC Plus. Because if you want to watch like Low Winter Sun, you can do that, I guess.
Well, what about the original content, the films or TV series? Are you familiar with any of those?
Creep Show is on there.
Right. I knew you knew Creep Show, but so I have developed a little game where I went onto IMDb and found the little 1 to 2 sentence description of an original film. Most of them are actually going to be films because they don't actually have a ton of original series. They have a few, but they are some of them are on here, but the original films or TV series. And I have come up with 4 titles. One of them is correct. The others are things that I have made up, and you have to try to guess what is the real title or what is something that I have made up.
Oh, okay.
Just based on the description. So here is the first one. After dying from a strange illness that she suffered for 3 years, a mother returns home to pick up her children. Your options are Mother Knows Best, Satan's Slaves, Zombie Carpool, or When Will My Life Begin?
So there's a real title in here, right?
Yeah, there is a real title. One of these are a real title. The other are things that I made up.
I'm going to go for the low-hanging fruit and do Mother Knows Best, because the rest of them does not sound like that would be the title of it. Like, When Will My Life Begin? That's not... I mean, I get that joke, but yeah, Mother Knows Best. That's what I'm going with.
The answer is Satan's Slaves. Mother Knows Best and When Will My Life Begins are both titles of songs from the Disney movie Tangled.
Tangled, yes. That's why I thought you threw the other one in there to like try to throw me off. But I was like, no.
Zombie Carpool is something that I just straight made up.
Zombie Carpool sounds fun. It's a sliding door.
That would be a great scare zone.
All right. Satan's Slaves. Okay.
Satan's Slaves.
So I really need to tune down like the cleverness. There's just like no clever titles. Just Satan's Slaves. All right.
It's just one. That was your first one. It was just your first one. Okay. Here's the second one. After a tragic event, Jua, which is the name, develops an unexpected but powerful connection with a dominatrix named Mona. His dangerous addiction to suffocation will lead them down a wild, freaky path towards emotional enlightenment. You have 4 options on this one. One of them is no breathing. One of them is safe word. One of them is dogs don't wear pants. And one of them is suffocation.
Oh. Well, I think I can get rid of dogs don't wear pants there, but I'm going to feel really stupid when I realize that that's the actual title. So I'm going to go with my gut reaction here. I'm going to go with safe word.
All right. Well, the correct answer is dogs don't wear pants. Suffocation, no breathing are both lyrics from Papa Roach, Last Resort. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And safe word is just something that I made up that sounded like it could be.
Well, safe word dominatrix. It's usually used in that sort of thing. So that's why I was leaning towards, safe word. When it's part of kink play, that's something that you usually want to have involved there.
Right.
When you're down at the woodshed, I guess.
Right. No one's going to try to sing some Papa Roach.
No breathing.
All right. Moving on. Number 3. So far you were
dogs
0.
Don't wear pants. The fuck?
Dogs don't wear pants. is the name of that. A couple discovers a strange room in their new house that grants material wishes, but all they want is a child.
This was an
your
interesting
options,
movie. I saw this one.
The options are The Room, Move In Ready, Closing Costs, or Feng Shui.
Well, it's not The Room. I can go ahead and say that.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Ma.
I did not hit her. I did not. All right, I'll stop.
Bye, doggy. Oh man, I like closing costs. I think it's closing costs. I like the alliteration there. That sounds stupid enough to be a title on Shudder.
You are terrible at this.
I made that shit up. The answer is The Room. The Room.
So
that is two in a row where you've gone. It's absolutely not this one.
But there's no way. That's impossible. Wait, because it's a made-for-TV movie?
No, you can have different titles for movie.
I don't know if the Academy appreciates that. I don't know.
I don't think the Academy knows this exists.
I don't know. I don't know about this. That's dirty.
All right.
Playing dirty pool over here. I'm gonna need a safe word.
All right. Let's see if we can do any better. A group of ex-cons turned movers are convinced by their creepy client to pull an all-nighter. As the night progresses, they uncover the horrors that exist inside an old Victorian mansion. And your options are all-nighter, conned, bump in the night, or stay out of the fucking attic.
Oh, God damn it. Shit. All right, stay out of the fucking attic. It's so bad that it would be a movie title that I believe it's that. So go ahead. Tell me I'm wrong.
You have your first right answer.
Oh,
it is Stay Out of the Fucking Attic.
That's a good title for a movie because it's true. I mean, that's the premise right there. You're like, all right, maybe what if I want to go in the attic?
Okay. All right. Well, moving on. A romantic getaway for two troubled college sweethearts turns into a struggle for survival when unexpected guests and a surrounding environment exhibit signs of a mysterious infection. You have these four options: Alejandro, The Beach House, Bad Romance, and Stupid Love.
Oh man, I'm stuck with the last two. I don't think it's Bad Romance because that's the title of a song, and I think you threw that in there. I'm gonna go with Stupid Love actually for this one. Stupid Love is my answer.
Well, you are on the right track with Bad Romance because that is a Lady Gaga song. But Stupid Love and Alejandro are both also Lady Gaga songs.
Wait. No. I know. Wait. Oh, fuck this shit.
And The Beach House is the right answer.
I don't know anything about... I barely know Lady Gaga. I am not a big fan of horror. I don't think I would be very well accepted by this community.
All right. Well, let's see if you get any better. Moving on. 2 years after escaping from demonic terror, the young woman is still haunted by unnatural vision. The dangers that await her and her friends are increasingly threatening. The figure of darkness rises to take their lives. So your options are Beyond Hell, Hello, May the Devil Take You Too, or The Blood of the Gods.
I'm gonna go with my favorite one there. Hell-O. I like that. That's pretty funny.
Well, you would be wrong. Beyond Hell, Hello, and The Blood of the Gods are all Gwar albums, and May the Devil Take You Too is the right answer.
I'm not too keen on my Gwar knowledge either. So
All right.
Guar albums. Guar, everybody's favorite band, Guar. Maybe that's what the Seek and Destroy. It's gonna be
I would love a Guar zone.
a
You know
Guar
how messy
yeah,
that would be?
that would be very bad.
That'd be a very messy zone.
The Guar and Mana War scare zone.
All right. Here is you have a couple of chances to get back in this.
I'm doing worse than random chance, by the way.
A young woman is trapped in a game of cat and mouse after she meets a charming man at a nightclub. You have Twist, Club Space, Hunted, and Do Not Sit on the Furniture.
Oh man. Shit. Are any of these obscure albums or music? I'm gonna go with "Don't Sit on the Furniture." I think the longer titles make more sense to me for Shudder.
Well, you would be incorrect.
Damn it!
Twist, Club Space, and Do Not Sit on the Furniture I got from a list of famous nightclubs in Miami, and the answer is Hunted.
What? We're gonna go down to Miami. Don't sit on the furniture.
Yeah, there is a nightclub called Do Not Sit on the Furniture.
No, I bet you the Bacardi is priced real well there. God, I hate Miami now after that. Just because I already hated Miami before. So.
All right. Let's keep going on. The first manned mission to Mars is now approaching the Red Planet. The crew includes the top flight scientists and a young female psychiatrist responsible for their mental health. But just as they're about to land, something goes wrong. Your options are excursions, bugging out, missions, and oh my god.
This actually sounds like a cool movie, by the way. I like this premise a lot.
I haven't watched it. It sounds good.
This is actually a TV series, by the way.
Oh, okay.
This is one of the TV series.
Okay, then in that case, I'm gonna say Mission because I'm probably wrong. Missions, yeah.
You were actually right. It is called Missions.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. The other three are a Tribe Called Quest songs. So.
Yeah, bugging out really wouldn't fit that. So,
I mean, if they were about to land it, they all start bugging out.
Usually when I think of like bugging out, I think of like Vincent D'Onofrio and Men in Black. Yeah. That's what I think of when I think of bugging out in like space.
All right. Moving on. A family finds themselves terrorized by their 8-year-old son's imaginary friend. You have Go, you have Z, you have R, and Python.
This movie was weird.
Is this that clip that I see of like they go to this kid's room and the kid is like 6 feet tall and he says, "I'd like you to get the fuck out of here."
I don't know.
Have y'all seen that clip on YouTube? It's like he's wearing blue pajamas. I was like, "Jonathan, someone's here to meet you," and he's like, "Well, I'd like you to get the fuck out of here." Okay, maybe it's a different movie. Or these are all Shudder originals, right?
These are all Shudder.
Oh, okay.
Like a lot of the times, they're kind of like Netflix, where they buy like obscure like foreign movies, things like that. Foreign like Missions is I believe a French TV series, but it's original to the United States.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Z, also known as Zed in Canada.
You would be correct.
Nice.
Z is the title. Go, R, and Python are all programming languages.
That's why I went with Z. Because I'm catching on now.
All right. And the last one. A mind-bending neo-noir set in an obsessive world of vinyl collecting. A vinyl tracker is hired by a rich collector to hunt a legendary rare record that has driven its owners mad and killed anyone that has dared to play it.
Wow, this actually sounds good too. Is this a series or a movie?
This is a series.
Oh, okay. We really should be getting paid by Shudder to do this. You know,
Where's that
this
Shudder
is just
sponsorship?
free advertising for this.
If Shudder wants to reach out to us and do like I know let us advertise Shudder, by all means, we will be a Shudder
Right.
Shudder advertiser.
Shudder, I will be in your DMs.
Shills for Shudder.
We are open. We are open. If you want to reach out to us, Shudder, we're probably not going to seek you out, but you have to seek us out because. But
I might seek them out. We'll see.
We'll see.
Do it. What's gonna hurt? What the worst thing they could say is no.
All right. Your options are scratch pad, dead wax, mint pressing, and gold digger.
I know the last one's a Kanye song, and I know you are at least a fan of the art, not the artist, when it comes to Kanye. The only other Kanye song I know is "Bound 2," so this really isn't helping me here.
Only other one?
I like that I know the title of.
Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. I don't make fun of you for not knowing my music.
I mean,
this is why we have Niko. We do this with Niko because at some point he actually gets frustrated and he gives us sound clips like that.
I'm gonna go with the mint one.
Mint pressing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you would be incorrect. That is just a bunch of gobbledygook things I put together that would make it kind of sound like if you were like a vinyl collector. So on this one, I just went with the correct answer is dead wax, which is a vinyl collecting term.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But scratch pad and gold digger are just things that I thought maybe sounded like if you were into vinyl collecting, it would be some sort of lingo that you were not. I just made them up. But dead wax is the correct answer.
That sounds like a good show.
Right. I almost went with other like actual lingo but then that would have been way too hard. So I just made up some crazy lingo. And Gold Digger, you're right, Niko. Gold Digger is a Kanye West song.
Hell yeah.
I like the plot of that. I need to watch it.
Well, yeah, it sounds good, right?
That sounds right up the alley for you and your roommate.
A bit.
All right. Well, that sums it up. Niko, Duff, are you keeping score?
I was. Out of 10, you got 3 correct.
Hey, that is
there. You go.
That's you saved yourself at the end because 2 of your yeses were, or 2 of your right answers were 8 and 9. So you were struggling until that point.
Yeah. You pulled up respectable. I don't know if I could honestly do any better. As much as we give Niko shit, I don't know if I could do much better. Before I know Duff could have because he watches Shudder.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those, so that would have helped. And I did catch on to your programming language one.
Okay.
Oh, I had already seen that movie anyway, so I knew that one too. Maybe I don't know. I think I knew 5. The others would have been all guesses.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'm almost right around random chance.
Yeah,
all right.
Pretty much.
I just looked up that. Yeah, it's around there. 30% out of 10 4 choice, multiple choice questions. That's around 30%.
There you go. So you guessed well.
There we go. I did it. And I psyched myself out too much, though.
How do you
I
graduate high school?
it?
So now that we have played our little game, Duff, do you have any idea what might be in this Shudder zone?
I don't know if any of that would be, to be honest.
Ooh,
probably not.
Missions would be cool.
So it's really hard because Shudder has a lot, and there's not too much that I can envision. I will say, and I'm not the only one who would love to see Psycho Gorman.
Okay.
But other than that, outside of Creep Show,
I know they have a lot of anthology series, kind of like Creepshow, and
Yeah.
I avoided putting those on the list just because it would be tough to like get that from the description. It would not doesn't really suit the game well that I was trying to do. So, but there are a lot of like anthology type series
Yeah,
on Shudder.
maybe something because I did watch the mortuary collection. Maybe something from there I could see. I don't know, man. Because another one that was great is Host, but I don't see how that fits in a scare zone in any way.
Let me pull up my list here that I was working with when it comes to Shudder original programming. Let's see.
Shudder, do 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 do.
The Cleansing Hour was a fun movie, but I don't see how it fits in a scare zone either.
There's this one coming out soon called Fried Berry. That sounds really fun. It's a South African horror thriller film. I think this is looks really fun. Just by the title, I like anything fried. You got me when if it has fried in the title, I'll eat it.
I like fried things.
I do. Yeah, can't go wrong. What is the other that Nick Cage one that you always talk about that was on Shudder?
Oh,
Bad Lieutenant?
No. Oh, it's Mandy, I believe.
Mandy.
Yeah.
Oh, Mandy.
That's really trippy. I could see maybe squeezing that in there.
The other ones is you have another horror called Dead House Dark. That's a horror anthology. The four series that I'm seeing on this list are Missions, Dead Wax, Creepshow, and Dead House Dark. Those are the four drama series. Then you have some unscripted docuseries called Cursed Films. You have a variety series called The Core and The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, and then you have the co-production called The Deadlands, which it probably might be featured in there. And then you have continuations. You have Flasher season 4, so it must have been a continuation of something else that they continued on Shudder. It looks like seasons 1 was on Chiller, and seasons 2 and 3 were on Netflix when it comes to Slasher. And then you have a bunch of all the other original films, which a lot of the stuff is original films. And then you have some documentaries. You have the Boulet brothers, obviously. The Dragula.
Dragula.
That would be
that could work. Yeah,
that would be great. Let's get some
that
Dragula in there. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Hell yeah.
In a face-off kind of style, in a portion of the scare zone, maybe.
Horror Noir, A History of Black Horror is a documentary.
It's a documentary, so it wouldn't really work, but a good watch. Nonetheless.
But yeah, it would be interesting to see what would be going in there because, like we have kind of alluded to, there's not a ton other than Creepshow and some of these other, like maybe Dead House Dark. There's not a lot of stuff to pull from unless we're going to see missions, which I doubt we are.
Yeah, I doubt it. I mean, I think there's a lot of movies you can pull from. I just don't. I think a lot of their best ones would be tough for a scare zone. So I think it's going to be maybe deeper cuts for Shudder originals. There was a good La Llorona film. That's a Shudder exclusive that I liked a lot. That might fit.
Really? What was that called?
La Llorona.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see it right on here. Yeah. It political horror drama is the genre of that. Apparently, there's some politics in this version of La Llorona.
I think it's more, if I recall, more kind of social commentary than pure political. But
okay, and it has a drama in the title.
Yeah. No, it's not definitely not a pure horror film.
Yeah. And I'm seeing here the mortuary collection that you just listed.
Mm-hmm.
And then, a lot of these.
Earlier I said the Cleansing Hour couldn't work, but if you put it on a stage, because it's basically in one room the entire time, and I think it's something that could work on a stage, because it's basically like an exorcism, and I think a kind of mini stage show out of it could be fun. So maybe that too, maybe.
Yeah, I'm seeing that here on the list here. It does not have a Wikipedia page though. So
Really,
if someone wants to write the Cleansing Hour Wikipedia page, it is all fair game.
I got it.
All right. Anything else we want to add to the what might be in the Shutter Zone before we go ahead and wrap up?
No, that's hard. It's such a hard guess. I think if it happens, Creep Show's a definite, and then otherwise, I just hope Psycho Gorman. It would look, just the aesthetic would be so cool for
Psycho Gorman. Nice to see.
Wow, that's the theme song. How'd you know?
Oh, really?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh. now I don't want to watch it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed the show. Let us know what you thought. You can always reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram at HHN365, and you can always leave us a voicemail at 407-906-3405. Duff, do you have anything to add before we let them go?
Just remember that next week we will have a late in the week post again, and then after that, hopefully we'll slowly work our way back towards an earlier schedule, so they're not too close to each other.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we'll see you in the streets.